You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Shot of tequila, beer on tap, sweet southern woman sit on my lap. G with an O, O with a D, T with an I, and a M and a E, and a good time.
Welcome back. 9:12. We're ahead of schedule. You know, it's always a good start whenever I'm ahead of schedule. Normally I'm 30 minutes behind, and I got that looking like 270, so it's pretty good. We got Frank and Jake. You know, the Rawlings Tigers, this is really cool. So you guys were telling me before we came on that, man, in St. Louis, this is just a growing organization, and now something for the Southern Illinois area?
Yeah, so 2010, Rawlings Tigers formed a club team over in St. Louis, primarily in the Chesterfield area, and then they've migrated. They built their regional division, and right now they're at about over 250 teams, over 29 states.
Wow.
So big in Illinois, up in like the Chicago area. It's kind of a newer division over here in the kind of Riverbend area, if you will, but St. Louis is kind of their primary
Really
location.
Cool. You guys traveling a lot then, I'm assuming?
Yeah, we do. We play a lot of local league stuff with Swivel and different things.
Oh, wow,
but then we do a lot of tournaments. So this year we went to Branson. Next year we got some aspirations to go to Peoria and different parts across kind of the central Midwest.
That's really
Hopefully
cool.
Nashville. I think that would be a good
I think the parents would be very happy with all of you.
Yeah.
So youth tryouts, what's the age range on this?
So the youth tryouts, so we're building teams and expanding at the 7, 8, and 9U range, right?
Okay.
So really we're looking at, youth players, it's always interesting, right? You got the rec league stuff, right? Which is great. That's where the foundation of player development starts. But it's, can we find those players and families and parents that want to, challenge their kids, and of course the players themselves that want to push to develop, right? And so that's where we come in to foster that environment, to work to challenge these kids to be the best version of themselves.
That's such a good point. And just with my time coaching club soccer and all that and being around it, that's such a bigger commitment for the parents more than it is the kids sometimes. And to get a taste of that and realize, okay, is this what it's right for our family? Is this what's right for the dynamic here? That's a really important conversation to have, and that's one that every parent needs to really discuss too.
Yeah,
and especially this age, because development is so huge. You want them to win. You want them to be successful, right? But 7, 8, 9, you want to prepare them for their older ages, right? 11, 12, 13. That's when the big jobs come through on that one. But you really, that's what we want to focus on, is building it from the ground up, development. Each kid's different. So we want to unlock that and maybe get them to experience something that they didn't even know they had.
And their emotions are different, right? So you look at 7, 8, 9, 10U, right? I mean, they struggle to harness those emotions, right? And that's where we come in again to try to, work them to overcome, right? Win the next pitch, right? Understand that, hey, failure is a part of this game. Anybody who's played baseball for any amount of time, I mean, Hall of Famers fail 75% of the time.
The Ted Williams quote, the only time you can be good 3 out of 10,
That's right.
But, I think it's so crucial, too, at that age. I mean, it's no different, I'm sure, than soccer. The earliest you can get in, and really start to develop those skills when your brain's ready to take that challenge on. Hell, the younger you can put a ball in their hand and get into this type of mindset, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what we see is, the earlier you start, the more the progression happens, right? And what happens and what's interesting is you'll have those kids who are just natural athletes, right? They're going to go in, they're going to succeed at anything they do. And then you're going to have those kids who got to work a little bit harder, right? But then what ends up happening is that there's a point where it crosses, where the kids who put more of the work in will surpass a lot of times the ones who are just naturally athletic.
You're 100% right about that. I mean, we saw that, right around the 12-year gap or the 13-year gap, where, all the athletic, kids that were really, really, quote-unquote, good just because they were faster, a little bit quicker, it starts to slow down, and you start to realize that those kids putting in the work are ready to go.
Well, and what, if you look at stats and data, sometimes around that 12-year mark, right, is where most youth athletes will actually drop out of sports.
Yeah.
Right? Because what happens is, and I think a lot of it is, I was so naturally athletic, everything came so easy to me, and now all of a sudden I'm up against a brick wall of challenges where these kids are, and now I'm failing more, and they weren't as prepared, right? So that's why, us as coaches and the organization, if we can come in, prepare them emotionally to be able to battle that, I think it helps them foster into success as they grow.
Well, and it's not even just for sports, it's life, because life ain't easy. And I keep telling these kids this. It's like, yeah, you're going to have a bad game and you're kicking the ground, or maybe you're mad at yourself or mad at your teammates, but what happens when you're at work and you're acting like that? Or you're at school and all of a sudden you got this project you forgot about. It's holding yourself accountable and learning how to manage your emotions, like you said earlier. Take me to your guys' dynamic as coaches, too, because, Jake, you're the assistant coach with Frank on this. What does it look like when you guys are running practices, when you guys are running games? How does your guys' dynamic work? So
we preach, win the next play, right? How a great player is defined by how much attitude, how much effort we're going to put on each play. If we make a mistake, baseball is a game of failure, right? It's how we respond. It's how you respond to that next play. If we keep our head up, pick your teammates up, we preach that night and day to them, because that's not only just baseball, that's life period, right? How are we going to grow from that? Well, and now Tuesday, July the 1st are when these tryouts take place, correct?
Yep.
And now take me through, so 7 to 8U is at the same time?
Yeah, so the 7-8U is going to essentially be from 5 to 6, right?
Okay.
And then we're going to have the 9U team come out from 6 to 7, right? To again try out. Again, it's about growing, right? So we're looking to expand in this region, right, and build multiple teams, right? So
cool.
Again, I think it's a good opportunity for anybody seeking to kind of take their game to the next level, right? Where we can help them train, educate, and grow their own individual game to come out and see what it's all about.
Well, and I'm sure you've been around the sport. Both of you guys have, quite a bit in quite a long time. What makes Rawlings a little bit different than maybe some of the other organizations or clubs that are around?
Yeah, I think that's the foundation of why Rawlings was created in St. Louis, and what it stems from is the different club approach, right? So there's the mentality or the ideology that it's a win at all costs, right? And that's not who we are, right? We are like, how can we take players, how can we develop them individually to grow them game, help them understand and educate. And what we've seen is that whenever you focus on our core values and you focus on those small details like attitude, effort, sportsmanship, good teamwork, sweeping the dugout, what ends up happening is that when you put all those things together, success follows, right? Yeah. So we take a different approach, right? It's not like, hey, I'm just going to get the best players and we're just going to make the best team. It's like, how can we take any individual, work them to develop them into the spot that they need to be.
That's so much more important, and I think sometimes parents give a damn about winning every game at 7 years old when no one's going to remember that next season who pitched and who won. It's just,
if you ask any player, right, even like you look into the college level, elite level, they'll say it's not the wins and losses that matter, it's the memories and experiences they had along the way.
Well, and that's what we forget so many times. I'm sure you guys run into this, is that it's a game. And as much as
AU baseball,
right, and it's like take it serious and get better, but there's a fine line to where it's almost too much, and you're creating this mental strain on yourself. You got to enjoy the game and enjoy the properties that make baseball so special, like the team bonding and all of those things, the community involvement that's a part of it too, like cleaning up the dugout and all those important aspects. That's what makes you successful, because as a college coach, you can have 25 guys of the same talent level, but if one knows how to carry himself, you're going to pick him over the other guys.
Exactly. Yeah, if you ask any college recruiter, they're going to say the kid who stands out is the one who hustles to every play, hustles to the field, right? Picks their team up. Those are the ones who stick out.
So what age group are you guys currently coaching?
So we're at 8U right now. So next year we'll transition to 9. That's whenever kid pitch gets involved. The whole game's going to change next year.
Another big jump. Right? That's exciting.
Yeah.
So did you guys start working on like all that stuff now, like ahead of time, or how does that work?
So it's extensive, right? So we started training this past fall in September, and we basically had 2 practices a day all the way up until season start, right? So, we'll look for, after we get through this next round of tryouts, we'll build the team. We'll have some kind of team building events, of course, and then come fall time is whenever we'll start to, start developing. And then really, because we're transitioning to kid pitch, ideally you want to get them exposure, because there ain't nothing more strenuous than a 9-year-old up on the mound for the first time.
I bet, yeah.
So getting him that experience, maybe looking for some fall tournaments, just again, reps. How can we get that rep and those exposures? And then we leverage each other, right? So we have other teams in the area. We have a Southern Illinois team in Waterloo that we play, right, who's also looking to build and grow at the 10U level. So we'll actually collaborate together to strengthen.
I love this. Now, where do you guys practice locally?
Typically, so it's been we've worked really well with Bethalto Sports Complex.
They got a nice facility.
It's a nice complex.
They're great to work with too.
Yeah, really easy going. They take whoever takes care of the fields out there does a great job.
They do,
right?
man.
So they take big pride on that.
Now, and would that be what parents expect if they're kind of interested in signing up for tryouts for practice to kind of be around that area, or do you have some jumping spots?
So what's interesting is our team is built of kids all over the RiverBend area.
You serious?
I mean,
Wow.
we have Jerseyville, Bethalto, Granite City, Godfrey, Alton. I mean, Wood River. All those. That's what makes up our team
That's
today.
cool. Yeah.
And so we try to find central locations. So the coach has the discretion to kind of find the most central. So we have a place in Jerseyville, All-Star Fieldhouse that we use, and then we also utilize
Sports Barn.
Sports Barn, of course.
Is that
in
a
Wood
nice
River.
place?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Oh, yeah, it's top notch.
And it's nice because it's got a full indoor field. So when we do like little scrimmages, even if we do an older team or whatnot, we can have it there. And
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're really easy to work with.
Well, I knew it was
so.
big. I didn't realize it was.
Oh,
that
you can have
big.
a full game there. We've played several indoor games there.
Oh yeah, and it's quick because I mean, if you can play it off the wall, you can play it off the net. So
We had team travel all the way from Vandalia just to come play us in the sports barn, and they thought that was the greatest thing because it
That
was
is
like an
freaking
indoor
awesome.
complex, right? So they definitely did it right there.
Man, it's not like Tropicana. You guys have walls over there still, Hey, do you guys have a moment to stick around with me?
Yeah.
I got to pay a quick bill. It's 9:22. More great conversation coming. I love talking with coaches and all that because it's so important whenever you're developing kids, not for the sport, but for the future. And you guys have a chance July the 1st for these youth tryouts for the 2026 season, 7 to 8U, 5 to 6 p.m., 9U, 6 to 7. That's over there at Bethalto Sports Complex. More next.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF primary care provider is there for every stage of life. Find a provider today at osfhealthcare.org/primary.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car. I have a job. There's nothing holding me back anymore.
Attila Fest is coming to Alton Amphitheater on July 26th. Presented by D. Smith Promotions, hosted by Reason to Doubt Podcast. Don't miss your chance to see Big Boogie and Boozy Badass live on stage with special guests Dirty Muggs, Borderline, Marquise Knox, and NKG Band. For VIP and slots, call Queen at 314-967-8999. Attila Fest. Don't miss it.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
9:25, little Eddie Money, a lot of the Rawlings Youth Tigers in the studio here, more conversations. I really love having interviews with coaches because it's so important, and it's just great to hear the mindset because you can see the flyer all you want, but really to get to meet the coaches a little bit, get to hear the mindset ahead of time, I think it's a really big incentive for maybe parents that are interested in this or even kids that are watching, and saying, this is awesome. Hey, on the 28th of June, mark your calendars for this. Again, at the Bethalto Sports Complex, 12 to 4 is a skills challenge for 7 to 10U.
Yep.
Fill me in on this.
Yeah, so I think the idea was to foster a community event, right? Have kids from any, basically from 7 to 10U come out, and I think you touched on it. It's like, hey, come out and see what we're about, right? See the opportunities at hand. Have your kids challenge themselves. We'll have a home run derby. We'll have an all-star game at the end, and then also a development part of it, right? Where we're actually going to work on fundamentals. Again, just an overall opportunity for kids to get together and collaborate and have fun.
Well, I love that it's before the tryout too, because it might be, I don't know when registration closes, but that could be a good, okay, let's try this first and
see if it's a fit, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what we challenge even with tryouts, right? Like, hey, if you're going to register for tryouts, just come out and see if it's a fit, right? You may get there and say, I don't want no part of this, but you won't know until you come out and meet the coaches and the other players.
Well, and I think it's so important. We were having this conversation with OSF too, especially at this age level. You got to play multiple sports, or try to at least, because if you just keep wearing down the same body part for 15 years, you aren't going to have a really rough time with things. And they were talking about just the dual uses and trying to use different, muscles and everything. But my dad growing up, because he coached Alton High, would try to get me to do go try out for wrestling. But me as a kid, I just want to do baseball and soccer. I did swimming eventually, but I get so mad at myself because it's like, why didn't you try all those different things while you were young to see,
Well, each prepares you for the next sport. Right. If you're doing something year round, everything helps prepare for the next one, right?
Well, and even with let's say you guys sign up and you get picked for the team, and you guys have a commitment to this, and it's a commitment. But even to try, if park and rec sport for a couple of months, you don't have to worry about being at every practice, just to take your mind off of the full-time job, if you will, of baseball. Those things are really important, and just like this, to try new things. Man, I love this. So what's the home run derby? Just because I've never hit a home run.
Home run derby, the kids always, I think, have the most fun at that.
Do they hit home runs? Because I'm going to get pissed.
Well, to be fair, we set the perimeter fence just outside the second base.
Okay.
Right? So, I mean, it's a feasible task. And what will be interesting is, we have over 50 kids signed up currently. Our goal is to have around 60, 70 kids. And what we'll do is we'll split them off into 4 different teams. So they'll stick with those teams during the entire event.
That's really smart.
And then each team will compete against each other. So as they go through the different skills challenges, they'll build points, and then at the end they'll compete at the all-star game, and it'll be fun. Again, youth sports in general, you always want to foster the competitiveness.
Yeah,
right? That's because that's life, right? You want to compete and succeed. But again, to take players who are meeting each other for the first time and to see them build that, again, sportsmanship amongst each other is important.
It really is. And I mean, just be a part of the 7 to 10U. So that can be, just to clarify for their parents, the 7U and 10U thing, it would be the birth year, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Really cool. And then $10, that's it?
Yeah, $10. Again, we're not out here. It's basically to cover the cost, right? The field rentals and the striping, and then any other materials we have. It's really what it's about.
Do you know how many times I hear, CJ, there's just nothing to do for the kids around here? It is $10, and this is such a cool thing. And now, when you're doing this, is it just you two out there doing that? Or you guys got a couple of coaches, volunteers, or?
So what we've learned is that it takes a village, right?
For sure.
I mean, so we'll have our coaching staff out there. Again, we'll have parent volunteers, and what we're looking for also is some potential, high school athletes. We have some feelers out there to get some high school athletes out there to help as well.
Well, I like this idea that you guys have folks from all over the River Bend being a part of this, because that's what helps baseball in general around this area continue to grow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, do you have more of a primary, more Bethalto kids than Jersey? Or where's your home base, if you will, for the majority of you guys?
So primarily as a coach, we try to find things that works for the parents, right? So we're very much centrally located in Bethalto, because we have kids from Granite City, we have kids from Jerseyville, Godfrey,
and you're on the highway.
So it's like, Bethalto Sports Complex is the most central and what makes the most sense.
This is so cool. Now, when does your season start after all of this is said and done?
So, our season typically, we'll do some fall scrimmages to help, kind of prepare them, right, to just get some early reps. But then, we'll do training throughout the fall and winter. And then, typically towards the end of March, our season will start, and it'll go all the way through the end of June. So, again, we're winding down our season right now. Next weekend we play this weekend we play in the GMB World Series, and then the following weekend we'll play in the Swivel Championship.
Nice. Well, and now with that being said, too, I don't know the costs of all that. Is it pretty pricey, to do some of this? Just because club stuff, I know parents sometimes kind of do this. Is it affordable for everybody?
I think so, right? So that's one of the things that's been the biggest benefits of becoming a part of the Rawlings, right? Is that, we as coaches can control the cost. So between sponsorships and, different fundraisers that we do, we want to control. Hey, I'm a parent of 3. Right? I mean, they're all in different sports.
Yeah.
So ideally, to be a Tiger, it's $265. That's what your Tiger fee is.
Wow.
And then from there, of course, you got the $500 bats today. It's kind of up to you what you want to spend.
What are they called? The demon?
The hype fire.
Oh, okay.
The hype fire.
They had some guy from college using an old pro. Maybe it was Jason. There was an old video or a video that just came out of like an old pro using the metal bats. Oh my God, that would be a fun day at Busch.
Yeah.
Man, put a helmet on out there. But those bats are crazy, though. I mean, like, you're seeing $500, and then the guy does the giveaways I'm seeing. We'll just show up to tournaments and, like, here, pick this bat up, and, oh, man, that's awesome.
Bats of today are definitely different from, and then the kids with their walk-up songs.
Oh, no way.
Oh, make it fun. Yeah.
They got the drip on, the jewelry, the sliding nets, yeah.
This is cool, though. And what I think, though, it's really great, though, to let the kid be a kid, too, still playing the game and having some fun and having the walk-up music. And, hell, feel like a rock star when you're up there. Who gives a damn?
And it is such it can be a challenging balance because you want to be competitive, right? You want to go out there and be successful, but you don't want to take the fun out of it, right? And that's what we've seen, kind of systemically is that you'll see that we're so win focused that you can see it on the emotions of the players' faces, right? You see it's body language.
Oh,
right?
man.
So where if they make a mistake, then it compounds, right? So how can we pause? How can we lift that individual up so that they can win that next pitch?
How to fall in love with the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Well, and because hell, if your head's down the next play like that, it's going to be a long day in the office.
Yeah. Short memory, right? Because baseball's a game of failure.
You're 100% right. And now, so you guys are going to have the 9U team because your team's currently 8U, so next year that's 9U.
Yeah, yes, correct.
So this tryout for 9U would be for your guys' current team.
Yeah, so we're always looking, the way we look at it is that we always want to give kids opportunity, right? So you come out, again, it's competitive, right? So you want to come out and, participate in the tryouts, and ideally what we're hoping to do is, again, expand and grow, maybe build a second 9U team potentially, right? And then you'll have the 7 and 8U as well, right? So again, we're trying to, the Rawlings Tigers are big throughout 29 states. How can we grow it in Southern Illinois?
Man, I think this is just so cool. And this is the 7 to 8U is the team that's going to be the younger team of it. Man, 5 to 6 p.m. over there at the Bethalto Sports Complex, Tuesday, July the 1st. How much is registration?
Free for tryout registration.
Right.
This is awesome.
If you want to try to get more competitiveness than rec, try it. Just go out there and try it. See if you like it. See if your son, really digs it. So that's a big thing.
Now, who has the best walkout song?
Oh man, it gets competitive.
Do they come up with some crazy stuff?
They do, and the boys are now to a point that they're all singing it in the dugout when they're up there, so they're all feeling it.
That is so.
My son makes me change his walk-up song like every 2 weeks. I'm like, all right, let's stick with it.
And I'm a thing of superstition, so my son's like, well, I want to change it. I said, no, you're not. I said, it's working right now. I said, if you go through a slump, then we'll talk about it.
You're stuck, pal. You're stuck. This is cool, man. Well, and now, with that being said, season starts in March. We talked about that kind of, but the fall stuff. When does that normally pick up? Like September, October?
I say around September, right? We'll look around that time to pick up some areas of opportunity to scrimmage some teams, right? To just get those reps in, those game time, game speed reps, and then once the weather kind of turns where you just can't be outside anymore, then we'll move indoors, and really that's where you focus on the individual mechanics of it, right? The swings, the fielding, the throwing. All those things.
And now, so what's great for you guys to know is that you aren't diving right into this, because sometimes, like whenever you travel, like Gallagher, it's like you made the team great. Next week your practices, here and here.
Right.
To have a breath during the summer and go, okay, this starts back up in September. We have a couple of things to do before then, but it's not going to inundate your summer if this is new for you. This is cool. I like that.
And because our season starts early, really, you think about it, kids are just now starting summer break. Really, so by the time our season's ending, you basically get the summer, right? Which is nice. And again, they're kids. They're 8, 9.
And they need the summer. They need the summer. Hey, you do private tryouts too?
Yeah. Yep. So that's one of the things, so if the tryout times and dates don't work for you, certainly, you just reach out to me, my email, frankbach88@gmail.com. You reach out, and we'll schedule a time for a private tryout. And then we may additionally, because again, 4th of July time, July 1st, that's a big travel time for families. We'll probably have another tryout, maybe late July, just
smart.
to pick up some extra folks.
Well, let me know if you guys do, and we'll just throw it back on there for sure, because this is
Definitely.
cool. Yeah. Well, I just think it's always a really good opportunity to talk youth sports because they're so important, and to give make sure everyone's involved in really just developing a better future for themselves. The critical thinking components are so important when it comes to baseball and all of that. Now, I got a question. Do you have anyone throwing heat yet?
We got a couple players. We got a couple players. I mean, it's just making sure they're doing it right, right? Because that's one of the things that they're the little league elbow is a real thing, right? So making sure that they're throwing properly, using right mechanics, and warming the body up, right? My son's guilty of it. He'll go out there and he wants to throw gas right out the gate, and it's like, hey, let's take a step back. Let's throw from 10 feet first. Yeah. And just start warming up.
Well, and just hearing that, that's great for everyone to know. It's done the right way. This isn't just let's go out there and be kicking and screaming, but for baseball and call this a good day. You're all about developing the player well-rounded. That's awesome.
Yeah. And the coaching staff has a lot of experience, at all levels in baseball. Cool. So they're very susceptible to making sure that kids are healthy and doing it the right way and all the way across the board.
It's like when pitching starts, pitch counts are a real thing, right? I don't know what they do at the rec level, but, we believe that anything over 50, 55 pitches is enough, right?
Yeah.
You got a 9-year-old out there throwing, 2 or 3 innings. That's a lot of throws, right? So let's get, you want diversity in your team. You want, if you got 12 players, you'd like to have all 12 that can pitch. Yeah. Right? So that's what our focus point is.
Man, is there anything else we need to talk about for this right now?
No, I think, again, what's important is seeing if it's a right fit for you. So leveraging the skills competition if you got time to come out and check that out. And then again, if you want to just see what tryouts and what the potential is, come out and we'll have a good time.
And that skills challenge is on June the 28th. We're going to link everything in a write-up on RiverBender.com, and we'll put those registration links in so you guys can just click and go. That's Saturday, June the 28th, $10 registration fee for that skill development home run derby, the challenges, plus the all-star game to end it. And then July the 1st, go stop by for the tryouts. You got to register ahead of time and try out for that 7 to 8U, the 9U, and just, have fun. Let your child develop into the best baseball player they can be.
Yep, definitely.
Well, thank you guys seriously so much for stopping. Anytime you want to come back on, just give me a call. Seriously.
100%.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Hey, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll chat a little bit in the studio. Sydney's going to join us at 10. It's my last live show for a few days. I'm excited.
Nice.
So kind of ready to boogie. But
Vacation?
you stay there. Yeah. And I'll stay here on RiverBender.com and Roku TV.